Hello, this is Deborah LeeAnn, and this is a sharing of the releasing ritual that I do at the end of each year. And I invite you to follow along as I have, or to totally take what fits and release what doesn't. This is designed to be done in a good 3 hours or so of your time. However, it can be broken up into shifts. It can be planned in stages. You want to protect your time. I've done this in a variety of places and both ways, like straight on through with several hours of alone time. And I've also actually done this in a stage of several different periods, and it all works. So whatever way you find it works. And if you don't get it all done, that's fine too. If you don't get it done before the first of the year, that's okay. We just happen to have, at the end of 2017, we have a full moon on New Year's Day, and it would be delightful to have this complete before then because of the magical energy of the finishing up of the year and the ending of that cycle with the full moon. So I'm just going to share with you how I go about this, and I want you to know that it's a combination of several different rituals that I have been from people that I've followed, and then I've made it my own. And it feels very soothing as I release this current year and move into the next. It's really powerful if you can start the process as soon as possible, just because you don't know how long it may take you. And I understand that time is of the essence, so whenever you get to it, you get to it. What it takes is some preparation. For the first several years, I went out and found votive candles in the colors of the chakras. And by that I mean red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and white. You also need to have a black candle. And if you want to choose, have 8 candles, one being dark or black or colored, and all the others being white, that's totally fine. This year I actually found a beautiful set of CHAKRA candles that I'm going to be using for mine. And like I said, the main thing is to find this hour or two of uninterrupted time. I've done this in a bathtub. I've done this sitting out in nature. I've also done it in places where I didn't have that much time to do the full ritual, so I did it in various stages. We want to start off in each stage of the process by grounding, beginning with nice, deep breathing and connecting back to yourself. Literally reach your arms out as far as they can all around you and pull your energy back in to yourself. If you can, put your feet flat on the ground. I mean literally barefoot on the ground. If you're in a place where it's too cold, I understand, but even wearing boots outside and taking the boots off and standing on the ground for a minute is really helpful to get this connection really clear and solid. You want to make sure that you're not collecting anybody else's energy at this time. You want to feel as whole and full as possible, because that is when we are at our most expansive, when we're most tapped in and tuned in, so that we can hear our wisest and highest self. So as I practice right now with my own grounding, feeling my feet on the ground and allowing them to sink, just melt into the ground, almost as if they're being tugged down by Mother Earth. I let the gravity really pull me, and in doing so, connect with our most primal mother relationship, that with our planet. From this place, we can feel her holding us. We can feel the support, and we allow the energy to come up and wind its ways through our feet, our ankles, our calves, across our knees, and up into our thighs, into our buttocks, and then gathering in a beautiful pool of silver energy in our pelvic bowl. And then I invite you to just allow your hips to wiggle a bit back and forth in the chair, doing pelvic tilts if you are standing, and just forward and back slowly and as, subtly as possible. That always brings me in to tapping into the pleasure of my body, its sexuality and sensuality. More and more, I'm realizing how powerful it is for us to appreciate our own bodies in this way. It is a God-given sensation, and it's something that we would not have if it was not there for us to be fully embracing and utilizing and tapping into. So maybe even doing some Kegels and noticing the sensation of our womb space and imagining that power and that light turned on and turned up, almost as if you've taken your dimmer switch and cranked it all the way up to its highest. And then let's breathe in some more to receive our divine energy, calling back all the places where our heart and soul and our mind may have splintered, and allow them all to come back easily and gracefully to settle and roost within us. Centering and allowing that to continue happening, even using the words, I call back my heart. I call back my soul. I call back my power. I call back my life. Allowing the golden energy of our divine connection to get wide and deep and truly plugged into us. It's always there. And just by acknowledging it, realizing it, appreciating it, and sensing it coming through the crown of our head and cleansing us with that beautiful golden light through our third eye, asking us to see beyond what our eyes can see, through our ears so that we may hear our inspired wisdom, through our throat so that we may express ourselves fully, realize our value in the world, into our heart, letting it be open and wide and expansive and shining brightly out through both the front of our body and out our back. Allowing that golden, sparkly light to spiral down, calming any of the unknowns of what we don't know in the coming year, what might be coming in the next 5 minutes. Just calming all of that little girl energy that's excited and nervous. Calming and relaxing into knowing that we are full and whole and holy. And this is our power, our creative energy at play right here. Letting that gold continue down through our solar plexus, where it mixes and ignites with the silver in that cauldron. And we create with our own alchemy our true, unique, brilliant light, where our genuine spirit and physical bodies meet. From this place, we want to tap in, even if you have to hold one hand on your low, low belly, or even between your legs, holding yourself and holding your heart and listening as we go through this exercise together. At times, you need to pause, and I strongly suggest that you do that. so that you can write out the questions and then return to this later to do the closing ceremony. So what are we going to do as we start writing all of these things out and journaling? First off, we're going to start off with the first list. What are all of the amazing lessons, celebrations, fabulous gifts and miracles that came our way this year? I am asking you to strive to reach 100. That may sound like a lot, but think of everything, like the times that you were able to drive safely somewhere and arrive and your car was intact. The times when someone gifted you with a special visit or a hug that just left you feeling safe and seen and loved and appreciated. The times when you really felt good about yourself. Stretch deeply and find 100 of these celebrations. This is an important part of setting the stage for us to call in more and more of these good, joyful, and amazing opportunities, relationships, prosperity of all kinds, vibrant health, love, both the romantic, friendly, and social and familiar kind of love. All of these. Think through all of the months. If you have to go to January and think through what happened, that would be cool. Go ahead. Visit your calendar. February, March, April. It might help to spur some ideas. It may also help to pull out your journals. Look at your gratitude for the year. But don't stop until you reach 100. This takes time. Allow yourselves the time. Sometimes I just take a notebook and I add to it throughout a day. The next part is to take a piece of paper that is not in a journal necessarily, and it's something that you're going to want to rip out at some point. So you want to use, it doesn't have to be fancy paper, but it's a piece of paper that you are going to release and destroy. So what we're going to do on this piece of paper is to write out at least 100 things that we want to release. Things that happened that we don't want to carry forward into next year. Times when you were feeling low and feeling like it was never going to get better. Times when you may have been ill or sick. Old storylines of, I am not good enough. I can't do that. That's not possible. Any of the places that kept us small. You know, you can think of those situations where you sabotaged yourself, where we created injury. Those are especially poignant because the injuries that we've created in our physical bodies tend to not just leave a scar on the outside, but they create an inner story that holds us back emotionally. We can carry a cringe or a grudge. I still have one. I must have been really young and fallen down the steps because several times I'll be walking along down steps and I still have that feeling like I'm going to fall. It's an old memory and it's still with me. There's lots of places where we have created fears, where we have created a story around something that I can't do that because of this, or because of my age, or because of my health. So let's try to release as much of this as possible. It could be when we had fights with people. It could be really bad things that happened. It could be our relating to the news that happened this year and how we held on to that for a while. It could be the fact that we've lost someone close to us and the grieving process, which is really important, but we're ready to let that go to bed now. Anything that wants to let go. This might actually be easier to get to 100 than the celebrations. So continue to list as many things and don't think, and stay grounded. If you have to go back and go through the process of grounding, do that, especially before each time you sit down to write any of these lists. Stay in your heart, stay wide open, and continue to deeply breathe. If you get stuck, look out at the sky or a tree or a bird, something in nature, and allow the stuff to flow through you. This is a process of almost like taking a shower after a long, long hike. And there's so much dirt and dust and old stuff that just needs to be washed away. And that's what we want to do with this process. The third step is to look forward into what 2017 means for you. What do you want to create? What do you want to feel in your body? What do you want to have happen? How do you want to end the year and just feel amazingly when you're doing this process at the end of 2018? And you may have already done a vision board, or you may be planning to do something, or you might have just looked at what you want to do with your business. But this is going to be a big, open, wide, clean slate. There's something so exciting about when you get a new journal or you have that brand new calendar for 2018. I remember buying the new calendars and the new planners and how fabulous it is to have this brand new, open, clean space to write in and play in and create in and draw in. From this place of open, positive possibilities and potential, let's look at what each of the various parts of your life are. I try to break it down based on the chakras. So the first one, the red chakra, the first is the root chakra. And it has to do with your family, your culture, your country, our nationality. For what is it that you want to create from this area? What does it look like for you? It could be anything around the root chakra that governs anything to do with your feet. Maybe there's a health thing from your feet up through your legs, up to the base of your spine. Maybe it's you want to create something that's governed by this first chakra. Something to do with switching around how you feel, how secure you are. Changing something in the way you operate in your family and in your community, in your country. As you write this out, and I like to take a slip of paper for each of these chakras and each of these areas and write down some things on it. And then I place it underneath the red candle. These are my wishes for 2018. We're going to move on to the second, which is your orange candle if you have one. And you could also write it on orange paper or use an orange crayon. What is it that you want to create that has to do with your relationships, your creative energy, your creative source, your expression of who you are, how you relate to life, sexuality, love, romance, to friends and family. Your relationship center is your second chakra. How do you relate to money? This area is beautifully wide open, and you can create whatever you want here. For me, it's going to be about creating a business that is more uniquely and authentically aligned with me, all of me. And relating to that and my vision and creating from that space, I write out what this looks like and light my orange candle and place my piece of paper underneath that. The yellow candle has to do with your relationship with yourself. It's where we hold all of our fears. Is there something that you want to change this year that you would like to move beyond? fear of intimacy, fear of, can I really be enough? Fear of, maybe I really am enough? Maybe I'm more than enough? Fear of creating some brilliant videos to teach what you are uniquely here to do? What is it, that something that could be holding you back, that's being held in this area? So much of this is where we hide our brilliance. Do you overly hide? Do you overly people please? Do you overly comply? Do you overly control? These are areas that are important to think about as you are wanting to create something different and new next year. As you write those out, either with a yellow crayon or on yellow paper, put them underneath the yellow candle. Light the candle and let it be. We're moving on to the next, which is the green candle. The green color that is aligned, it's aligned with our heart chakra. This is a huge, big, expansive love chakra, our heart. This is the area where we open wide to the front and greet and receive. This is also how we relate, and it's the beginning of us relating on a more spiritual, deeper level than just the physical. The physical is governed by the first 3 chakra, but the fourth, we're beginning to transition to our higher self. What do you want to create with your heart this year? What does your heart want you to know? How can next year be different for you, and how you open your heart even more? What would happen if you lived with your heart wide open and expansive, not shut down, covered up? Write this out and light your green candle, allowing the receiving of all that and what it would feel like in your body to be so expansive. Imagine each of those things coming to be as you light the candle. Hold that feeling, letting your heart be so full that it may actually bring tears to your eyes. Stay with it. Allow yourself that pleasure and joy of experiencing what it would be like to have those things, to be those things right now. Let's breathe that in. I love breathing into my heart and letting it expand. Then we move to the throat chakra, which is the area that is the top of our shoulders, our trapezius muscles, up our neck to the base of our skull. It also governs our sinuses. It governs our expression, our truth, our value in the world. It shows up in how we express ourselves. Do we perform? Do we teach? How do we show up? Do we write amazing blogs so people can learn more about themselves by reading our words? How do we show up and express ourselves and our value in the world? How do you want that to look different next year? What would it feel like to be so fully expressed that people resonated with you, they understood you, and they could see and connect with you with your authenticity because you're just showing up in your unique brilliance? Down, we just allow that to just handle, and as we open our throat and allow what is open and wanting to come through us, breathe that in and try to hold the feeling of having those feelings right now, of showing up in your brilliance and letting your light radiate from you through your words, your thoughts, your deeds. Just by your gaze on someone, allow them to feel who you are. Allow your chest to be wide and open, and your back to be whole and strong. Your shoulders down away from your ears, elongating your neck. And feel your energy flowing deeply through your body. I actually like to imagine it in a figure 8, swinging up through the top of my head, through my neck, and down through my body. The feeling of what it feels like to have each of these things be is important to hold in our body as an imprint. It's like setting the stage for those things to come. It's like planning the vacation. We can start feeling it as we plan it. And that's what we're doing right now. We're laying the foundation for what we want the world to look like next year for us. After your blue candle is lit and the items that you want to create are placed under the blue candle, we can move on to the purple. The purple candle has everything to do with our intuition, our insight, our third eye, and our highest wisdom. We really, really want to tap into that insight. We want it to be an open channel so that we can receive the inspiration coming through. How do you want to have a relationship with this part of yourself? And how do you want to be guided every day in meditation? Do you want to be able to tap into your higher self and wisdom as you deliver the work that you are here to do? What do you want this to look like and feel like? And how do you want to co-create with this highest wisdom that we already have available to us? What do you want to do with it? What do you want 2018 to look like? You can pull in any other areas that you would like to around this highest self and your wisdom and your intuition. Imagine them already in place, like surrounding you, like your guidance system, because it's there, it's ready for us. What would your life look like, feel like? What would it taste like, smell like? What would it feel like on your skin if all of these things were already in place right now? Breathe it in and write a few words to anchor that in and place it under your purple candle. Second to last, we have our white candle. This is our connection to the divine, all things spiritual. All of our guides, our ancestors, our angels, the highest divine and universal source and love, God, whatever you want to use as your special name for this holiness that we tap into, that comes through our crown chakra. This is our rightful place as divine beings while in this life and physical body. If you had your most divine, kick-ass, amazing life, what would your spiritual life look like next year? What guidance are you so tapped into that you know you can trust it anytime, in any moment? What additional miracles and things are you looking to co-create with Source next year? What does 2018 look like if you are your most tapped in, tuned in, and turned on? Let's write out a couple things to remember what you're seeing at this moment, what you're feeling at this moment. Lighting that white candle, let's breathe and allow those to settle into your heart. Breathe all of these things in, knowing that they are true, possible, already created, and that by imagining them and what they feel like, we have laid the foundation for them to come to us. Those miracles are on tap, and we can trust them with unwavering truth and trust. Then, to set the final stage, we allow all of these things to move forward. It's time to burn and release this year, thanking all of those blessings, celebrations, the sadnesses, illnesses, lessons learned, tragedies, and grief. It's been a huge year of ups and downs. What I tend to do is, and I do this a couple different ways, I write one time on paper and then disintegrate it in water, and that was cool. The other thing I've done is I've burned them. I've done this in a safe place, in a fireplace, over a fire pit. I would highly recommend that if you're going to light them on fire, that you do so next to water, over a metal pail or over a sink, and not outside if it's windy. Please take caution and make sure to burn every single little bit. What I do is I tend to tear up my pages into small bits and put them into a little pile and place that onto some wood. Light the fire and watch it all burn. It's funny how I feel like the different pieces of paper that would fly out of the fire pit, and I'd have to go get them and put them back into the fire. It's some pieces like that that just don't want to let go. Whatever happens, and however long this takes you to do, and however you do it to make it your own, customize it and allow it to feel like it's your process, your ritual. Throughout the years, I've shifted and changed this and pulled from different things and found what really serves me well. The key is to let each of the candles burn all the way. This isn't always easy. You may not have a lantern to put them in or a fireplace. I've actually been known one year when we were staying in the flat here in Australia, I put them in the bathtub to let them burn all night. A friend of mine was traveling. He put them into a big roasting pan on foil, then put them in a box and put them in the back of his car because he had to travel. Whatever works for you, but allow them to burn all the way down until they're gone. And some will burn away most of the wax, others will leave behind a pool of wax. That's beautiful too in itself. Last year, my candles, as they burned out on this patio, they left behind this collage, if you will, of melted colors. It was just beautiful. It took me a long time to throw them away, to break up the wax and toss it, which I did, over the edge of a seawall into the ocean. The main thing is to light your candles on New Year's Eve and let them burn until they're gone and the pages are all written on underneath. You can choose to save each of the things that you wrote out for the year, or you can look at them when you do this ritual again, if you do it again next year, or you can choose to burn them and release them knowing that all is well. What feels right to you? However it is that you want to move forward, you can ask your intuition and it will let you know. I'd be curious to know how this works for you, what you've noticed, what you felt, what opened up for you. Feel free to reach out to me at Deborah LeeAnn, or leave a comment on whatever source you're finding this recording. Thank you so much. Happy solstice, Happy New Year, and I'll speak to you once 2018 arrives. Take excellent care of you. We need you. This is a year where we're all being called to do what we're here to do, and we really need to step it up. There is no more holding back anymore. I hope you're with me. Take good care. Bye-bye.